Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Sarah and today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a different video. I'm going to be doing that palette tag video. I've watched so many of them over the past few weeks and I was like, you know what? I need to do one of those. I think it's really cool because it makes you go through your drawer and see all the palettes and like some really old palettes and some really cool palettes that, you kind of just forget about. So let's get started. So I have here the list of the tag questions, and the first one, it says show your newest palette, and I'm gonna show you this palette. This is the Carly Bible by Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, and I did get it from Sephora. It's a very pretty palette. As you can see, it has different colors with different undertones. It does not, however, have like a black color or like a very dark brown color. But I do have so many palettes that I don't really need these colors in that palette. But it actually has such a beautiful, 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 beautiful glitter like shadows, like this color here. Let me swatch a few colors for you. So it's this color. I think it's actually on sale in Sephora or Macy's. And what else? This color is really pretty as well. They're super creamy. I think this palette does have some of the most beautiful glitters. This here. Let me show you. They are freaking gorgeous glitters. I don't know, like they're really, really pretty. They're super blendable, super buildable. And then moving on. So the next thing it tells you is show your oldest palette. Okay, so I have a little bit of kind of a story, but not really. So I do not have my oldest palette with me anymore because it would have been like super crazy old. Like I don't even know how old that would be. However, it was the Naked, the first very ever palette by Urban Decay Cosmetics. I'm sure we all know this palette. I do really still like this palette and I occasionally use it. I don't use it that much. Let me show you this. Like that color here, what is it called? Toasted color? Oops, here. The color here, that toasted color. Let me actually show you how it translates. It's such a pretty color. I don't know what it is. It has like a hint of a pinkish metallic. Let me actually show you another thing. Let me show you the browns because I know that the Naked palettes, they do have pretty good browns. So let me swatch this one for you. Look at this, and super creamy, super pigmented. So next it says show your most expensive palette. And actually, okay, technically this is not my most expensive palette, but my most expensive palette, I did get it on sale, so it ended up being not my most expensive palette. Just so you guys know, because I'm going to be talking about that most expensive palette later. But for now, my most expensive palette would be this. This is the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk. And let's see if I can open it. I did use it quite a lot. It has some really pretty colors. It has, a gray shade of range of oranges with like different undertones. It has this one like glitter. Again, it's something common. I haven't even realized this until now. So far, all of the palettes that I talked about, they do not have a black color. They do have kind of darker colors or like a dark brown color, just like this palette. Let me actually swatch for you some of my favorite colors. Actually, this Blood Moon here, it's one of my favorite colors in this palette. And let's do a little swatch here. You see, it's so pretty, and it's, I guess you could call it like a shimmery shadow. And then these like few matte colors, they're actually really good. This color, let me show you. I mean, it probably will not show on my skin tone that much, but you see it's actually a very pretty in the crease color. I did use this palette quite a lot when I first got it, especially like for traveling and stuff. I would take this palette. I know it's pretty big, but it does have a lot of colors, and you could use it for day and night because you have these like matte colors and then shimmery colors. And the reason why I actually would travel with it is because it has this glitter color, and sometimes I just want glitter. So let's see what is next. So it says show your most affordable palette. So I have this palette by Makeup Revolution. I don't know if you can see because it's kind of like a mirror-ish. But anyways, so this palette, Soft X, I hope I'm pronouncing this right. I think it's the cheapest. I don't think they sell it anymore, but when I looked, I think it was being sold for $15. And this is what it looks like. It is a pretty palette. It's not that super pigmented. Some of the colors in it, they don't have a great payoff, but some of the colors that actually do work are really pretty, and you can create different looks with it. This one for you. Let's see. So that was the green color. I don't know. I mean, I guess, yeah, it just comes off a little bit chalky, but it was very workable. I mean, I wouldn't say it's the best, you know, palette that I've ever owned, but it was very workable, and I still use some colors from it every now and then. I mean, obviously it looks like I haven't used it for a while, but I have it. Your most affordable palette, show your everyday palette. So this is really tricky because I do not have an everyday palette really, just because I don't know. I either would wear like a lot of makeup, hence the smoky eye, or I would just wear eyeliner. But when I do want to wear makeup, I realize I have been gravitating towards this Soft Glam palette. I don't know where I got it. I think maybe I got it last year. Oh my gosh, yeah, definitely not this year. So I think I got it last year, and I really love this palette, and let me show you why. I know it does not look like you could wear anything in the morning, but it does have great crease colors, like all these brown colors. They're super blendable, and it has this color, which is like my favorite color. Let me actually swatch it for you. If you can see, I did use it a lot. So this is the rose pink color, and it's crazy creamy. Look at this. Look at this color. Gosh, this dusty rose, and I love this color as well. So the whole palette, it blends in really well. Let me just show you the dusty rose. There you go. So the palette blends really well. The shimmery shadows, the matte shadows. I do think it was a really good buy. I do actually love the Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes, and I don't know, I think this is probably my favorite palette from them. Oh my gosh, look at me, I got it dirty. Oh, everyday palette. Show your most colorful palette. Okay, so for my most colorful palette, I don't know really which one would be my most colorful palette, but I just opted for this palette. It's the Huda Beauty Obsessions. It is, I mean, hey, it's really colorful. It's the Ruby Obsessions. This palette is so pretty when it comes to, you know, reddish eyes. Last time I used it, we were in Vegas last year when we could just, you know, go to places and, you know. Anyways, but this is the last time I used it, and I remember this color, I like packed it on and it was like really pretty. Look at this. I mean, it's a very pretty color. I do not think that most of my other palettes have a similar color to this, because it's like pinkish, but it's really reddish pink. So that's one of the colors, and the fact that it's a small palette, yet it still has a very light color that you could use like under your brow bone, and it's super creamy. just show you here. I mean, you can't really see the color that much because it's super light, but it's like super creamy, and it has like a hint of like a reddish pinkish undertone, which goes perfectly with this palette. So it is actually one of my favorite small palettes, and that would be my colorful palette. Most colorful palette. Show your smallest palette. So my smallest palette would be this little palette. It's the Natasha Denona Mini Lila palette. I mean, I hope I'm just pronouncing this correctly. So this palette here, oh my gosh. Okay, yes, you can see this. But anyways, I always wanted to try a Natasha Denona palette, but they're super expensive. So I was like, why not try the mini version? And this palette actually did not disappoint at all. I did a few looks using this palette. You can actually see them on my Instagram. I'll leave the link in the description box. But this is such a cool palette because it has this like purple color and then this blue color, and it kind of forces you to use these colors together, and they look amazing together. So I feel like when I got this palette, I was like, okay, I'm not sure. I'm like totally a brown girl person. So I was like, oh, I love these two colors. I could just literally, you know, put this on my lid, diffuse this in my crease, and call it a day, which I've done. But I've used it for colorful eyes. I like packed this on my lid. I use this, you know, in my crease. I use it under my eyes. I mean, it's really pretty. So it's like really small. I mean, it's really, really small and cute. I mean, look at this. Look. Yep, it's a pretty small palette. And then the next thing, it tells you show your biggest palette. Okay. You want to see my biggest palette, and of course I got it dirty, but that means that I use my palettes. So this is my biggest palette. It's my Scott Barnes Color Bomb #1 palette. It is really big and it has all these colors, and this is the palette that I tell you is technically the most expensive palette, but I got it when they had the Scott Barnes birthday sale, and I think it was like 25 or even 30% off. So it ended up being cheaper than the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette, which is like crazy because Scott Barnes palettes are pretty pricey, but it's gorgeous. Like, this palette is so pretty. I mean, okay, look at this. I do have a tutorial, like a colorful eye tutorial on this palette, which I'm gonna link down below as well. But look at this. I mean, what is this? Let me actually just swatch it for you. Look at this. I mean, oh my gosh, it's such a pretty color. And actually, what was really surprising, super crazy good in this palette, this color here. I mean, it's just, I don't think you can really tell on camera, but it's like a glittery white color. I'm gonna use it with my pinky because I don't want to get it dirty. But look, it has like a silverish undertone and it has like glitters. Let's see if I could swatch it somewhere. I mean, look at this. I mean, once you put this color in your inner corner, which I've done multiple times since I got this palette, it makes your eyes like pop. It is a gorgeous palette. Obviously not an everyday palette, I mean, I guess you could use some of these colors in the winter. I mean, one more thing that I really love about this palette, that despite of the palette having like these gorgeous colors, it does have mattes, it does have shimmers, and it does have like these two colors that you could work with, so that your eyes are not just all colorful. But anyways, oh my gosh, I forgot to talk about these two colors. These two colors are so pretty if you just put them on your eyelid for like even a day look or an everyday look. Let's see. Actually, let me clean my hands first. So this color here just looks like this, and there it is. Like, oh my gosh. I know my hands are a little bit wet from the wet wipe that I used, but it doesn't matter. And that color tease are like a gorgeous look. I mean, okay, come on. So this is a really pretty palette. So here we go. Show your palette with the best memory. Okay. I mean, when I first read this, and I was like, oh my gosh, I know what I'm gonna talk about. Because this is the palette with the best memory. This is the Naked 2. I don't know if you all remember when these Naked palettes started coming out. There weren't like a lot of like palettes out there. I'm trying to remember. I think it was more like single shadows from MAC, and then I don't know, I think when you add them up they would become like really pretty pricey, or you would get those like drugstore palettes. But this was the Naked 2, so I did get this palette. Actually, I didn't get it. I don't think my mom bought it for me, and I think it was like a graduation gift, maybe, or maybe I passed the semester. I don't know, but it was something like that. But I do remember this palette clearly. I'm just gonna be careful while opening it because some of the pans are falling out. But I used the heck out of this palette. I mean, can you see this? I literally hit pan on this color. This was one of my favorite colors. So I mean, I literally use this color in my crease all the time, like all the time. And then again, loving my browns and bronzies, I use this other color. Oh, actually, sorry, I used this color in my crease all the time. I'm like, why would I use this in my crease? But yeah, so I love this palette. It did have the black that I was looking for. I mean, this is like my first ever palette that had like a black color, and I was like, okay, perfect, like I found my black. I mean, it's like an older palette. What I liked about it at that time, I mean, first of all, this writing, like the feeling of this writing was really cool. It did come with a brush here, like a double-ended brush. I mean, it's somewhere. Actually, the brush was pretty useful. I mean, not the best blending that comes out of that brush, but it was really, really useful because I remember I had like a flat kind of like shader end, and I would use that all the time. Let me show you this. Let me look at this. I mean, obviously now with the technology and more palettes, I mean, it, oh my gosh, it's really good. I mean, however, with the technology and the more palettes we have, we do have better colors even from Urban Decay themselves. But I do think this is a really, really cool palette. Show a palette worth the hype. Okay. So a palette worth the hype. I mean, this is really, I mean, I don't know. It's not that old, but it's old. Maybe it's like 4 or 5 years. But it's the Self-Made palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills. I did use it a lot. You can tell, I mean, I can't tell myself. Here, that color, that hot and cold color you see, you can just tell that I almost, I mean, I did really hit pan on it. You could see like the pan underneath. I really liked about this palette that it has 2 pop-up colors. I'm not sure if I ever used this color. I actually used this color because I really love like greens, mint greens, like light baby blues and things like that. And I like this color. This color layered beautifully on top of eyeshadow. Let me show you. I mean, it has this like iridescent like look, and then when you layer it on top of one of these shadows or just another shadow, which I would reach out for, and then when you layer this eyeshadow on top of other shadows, it gives it this iridescent look, because I think that's like all what it does. So it's really perfect for that. I mean, is it my favorite palette now from Anastasia Beverly Hills? Like, no, not really. But at that time, did I think it was worth the hype? Yes. Would I be reaching out for it? Yes. I totally forgot about it. I mean, look at this color too. That butterfly, I used it a lot. And like this color, I mean, I love this color. You don't need a lot of this, but I remember I used this a lot as well. And oh, one more thing. This palette has the best black. I think it's the best black that Anastasia Beverly Hills came up with, because if you can tell, it has a little bit of glitter. I mean, and it's not like those glitter chunks, it's just literally a little bit. It's perfect for packing. I mean, once you pack this color, it looks really nice. I don't know about like blendability, but I used to use it for smoky eyes all the time, because once you just pack it on and you can see that hint of glitter, it worked out really well for me. So there's this palette. This is actually one of the palettes that I totally forgotten about, and when I was doing this tag, I was like, okay, I remember you. Okay, and oh my gosh, I'm getting like colors all over myself, but so that was a palette worth the hype. A palette that's not worth the hype. Okay. All right, what am I gonna say right now? So a palette that's not worth the hype. I mean, when I first read this, I knew exactly what I'm gonna be talking about. Like, I didn't even have to go through my palettes. I didn't even have to think about it. It's this. I mean, it looks like absolutely gorgeous. It's by Huda Beauty. It's the neon palettes. I did show you earlier the Huda Beauty, the Ruby Obsessions, beautiful palette. You can do so much with it. Blendable. It has all the colors that you need. Let me show you this palette. First of all, this palette, it is gorgeous. Like, look at these colors. I mean, you can't deny this pink is so pretty. I mean, this like white iridescent color, these neon colors, what you would think like you just add that neon and then you'll be popping. You're wrong. You are wrong, my friend. Let me show you this. First of all, it's super chalky here. Look, this is like not neon at all. Like, I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. And then there's this color next to it here. I don't know. I mean, honestly, some of the palettes, they do not have a lot of payoff, which is totally fine. I mean, you could just pack the colors. It's not like it's that big of a deal, especially if you like the colors. And then she came up with these colors when we weren't really using neon colors. But I don't know how this palette made it. Like, I really don't know. I mean, I was so excited. I mean, this color, oh my god. I mean, look at this color. Literally, like, it's just the colors have, let me show you this actually. Let me clean my fingers. Let me show you this. Like, let's actually do this color then. Here, I mean, it has no like pay off at all, and you cannot blend them. Like, you have to pack them on, but like, how? Even this white here, look, I mean, literally nothing. And like, the idea of the palette is really cool, because like even this white color, it has like a hint of like that neon color, so it would have been perfect, but no. However, like, what I salvaged from this palette, this color is actually really pretty. It's wearable. The only problem is, like, look, you really can't see it. I mean, I don't know. I think this color is workable, but this palette is definitely not worth the hype. And especially that those other Huda Beauty Obsessions, I have like a few more. They are super creamy, buttery, blendable, but not this guy at all. So not good. Favorite palette from a favorite brand. So before I get into this, actually, I do have multiple favorite palettes. The Soft Glam was being one of them, and I think I talked about it. But I went through my palettes, and then I just realized that I love this palette so much. This is by Urban Decay. This is the Smokey palette. What's it called? Urban Decay. Oh yeah, Urban Decay Smokey. This palette is so freaking cool. Like, I used to use it a lot when I got it, but I haven't used it for a while. But I don't know, I kind of like don't want to run out of it. I really like it. I mean, I didn't hit pan or anything, so I really like this palette. I don't know, it's, now that I think about it, it's kind of similar-ish to the Naked One palette, but it's still different. So I do really like this palette. Do love all these like colors right next to each other. Let's just swatch this. Let me look at this. Beautiful. I mean, it's a pretty palette, and then it has whatever here. So it has these colors. I think Urban Decay, they usually like throw in like 3 shades similar to that. They're not like exactly identical to the other ones, but they're really good. So you can use like all these colors to blend in your crease and then have like good matte colors. And then last but not least, show your most used palette. So my most used palette is a really old palette that I haven't used for a while, but I used the heck out of it. I mean, it's this Lorac Pro. This is the very first Lorac. I mean, you can tell it's so dirty, but oh my gosh, I hit pan on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I hit pan on 5 shadows. I used the heck out of this palette. I love that it has a super light white color. It has bronzy colors. It has copper colors. It has a black. I mean, even like those like shade, like the matte colors that you can blend in your crease. Some of them like this mauve and light pink, they're like pinky, and some of them that like the top here and then the sable, they're like brown. So I used to use this palette a lot. I really like the quality, I like the colors, I like the blendability. The problem with this palette, it has a ton of fallout, like crazy fallout. But honestly, I created beautiful looks with this palette for years. Like I would buy palettes and I would still use this one whenever I have like, you know, an event, or I want to look cute, or I want like a specific color. I would use this all the time. I mean, now it's really old, I don't really use it that much, but definitely it used to be my go-to most used palette. Super light too. I mean, you can see it's like not even thick at all. It's like this tiny palette. Anyways, you guys, that concludes my palette pack for you. If you like this video and if you stuck with me that far, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and let me know if you did like this kind of like sit down chit chat palette tag videos. And I'll see you next time. Bye.